Joining us now is the product manager for System 7 at Apple, Steve Goldberg, known there as the 7.0 guy.
Hi, Stuart.
And next to Steve, Craig Danieloff, who's probably the only guy who knows as much about 7.0 as you do. Craig is the author of the System 7 book, which just came out. Tim?
When I go to install System 7 on my machine, it has various levels of compatibility. Sometimes it says that a program is not compatible. Should I be concerned?
For application programs, for the most part, no, because you can just simply test that after you install System 7. What you should pay attention to is the part of the compatibility checker that wants to move incompatible inits and control panels, because those can cause System 7 problems at startup.
Okay. Steve, we're eager to see what System 7 can do, so show us.
Well, System 7 is Apple's new version of Macintosh System software, and we are really striving for greater simplicity and sophistication. I want to show you a few demonstrations that highlight some of those themes. First is how you install fonts in the system. Under System 7, it's really natural to just take a font and be able to drag it onto the system folder, and that's exactly how it works to install a font. The system recognizes the font, goes ahead and installs it.
Much different than the past.
Right. Now, I think a lot of people are familiar with the old Fontier mover, and this is definitely a big step forward in just new level of simplicity. So now you go and you see that the font's already installed, and I can use it right away. Another way that the system has been made easier to use is through an integrated find command. It used to be a separate utility, and that's now been built in. So if I want to find a file, I come to the find command under the file menu. It brings up a really simple dialog box where I can type the name of the file I want to find, saying that's lost for this example. Click find. And not only does it tell me where it is, but you see it also fetches it there on the screen. If it's not the right one, I can say find again, and it'll go ahead and walk down the list. Now, if I want to find things in more sophisticated ways, there's a more choices button, which brings up an expanded version. I can search for things in a whole wide variety of ways. Now, as people work with larger hard drives and more files, it's really important to have very powerful navigation and location tools. And you saw Find. Another one is saying in System 7 is the customizable Apple menu. And let me show you how that works. Suppose I have a couple of documents and applications that I use every day, very, very frequently. What I can do is I can take those, in this case I have Microsoft Word and a to-do list, a document, and place those inside this special folder. Just drag it in, and immediately you see that they show up in the Apple menu. And so there's Microsoft Word, and there's the to-do list. And when I select it, it goes ahead and opens it up. And that's very convenient because I literally have one-stop shopping for my most frequently used documents and applications and folders and so on. It's very, very convenient. And of course, you see fairly lengthy Apple menus now.
Now, what about file sharing? That's been something that we always use.
Yeah, file sharing is what I consider to be one of the most important new features in System 7. It's one that customers over and over talk about. What file sharing is the ability to share your files and folders with other people across the network, and it replaces the infamous sneaker net. Let me show you how that works. Here I have a folder on my machine, and it has a couple of different files in it. And what I can do is come up to the File menu and say Sharing. A little box comes up. I'll click Share this item. These other controls have to do with security and so on. We can talk about those later if you want. And now you notice that this folder gains a new icon and shows a little network wires. And that gives me a clue that's available across the network. Now on Tim's machine over here,
and let's make clear, this is a separate computer here, not just another monitor.
And they're connected via network. In this case, I'm using PhoneNet. And I can come up and tell it that I want to access files off someone else's machine by clicking on this icon. And I see my machine, Steve's 2CI, this one, across the network. And in this case, I'll just say I'm a guest and click OK. And now I see the shared folder that we shared on this machine. And let me just send this away. And you'll see that a new icon here has been added to the desktop. And if I open up that icon, what I see inside of it are the exact same files from this machine. In fact, I have a view, if you will, onto this hard drive. And I can go ahead and open up one of the documents, work on it, make some changes, and save it back onto my machine. So for small groups of people, I have a very, very effective tool for taking advantage of that wire, which connects all my Macintoshes to my laser writer, and sharing files and folders with other people.
What else, Steve?
Well, the last thing I want to show you is how we provide some new growth opportunities for applications through something called inter-application communications. And the one thing I want to show you is something called publish and subscribe. And what publish and subscribe allows you to do, let me just go ahead and get a couple things set up here. What publish and subscribe allows you to do is share parts of your documents with other documents, either on the same machine or across the network. And whenever you change data in one document, it automatically updates other documents.
Even in different applications.
Either in different applications. And what I have here on my machine is the new version of Excel 3.0, which supports this feature, and on the other machine is an upcoming version of WordPerfect, which also supports it. So what I can do is I can select some numbers, or in this case a chart, come up to the Edit menu, a standard new command called Create Publisher, where I can come in and name the link and place it somewhere. I'll say go ahead and publish. And then on this machine, Tim's machine, what I can do is I can issue the counterpart command, which is called subscribe. So I'll come up to the Edit menu, say subscribe to, and here I'll see a list of all the different things, and I'll say subscribe. And you see that it places a copy of the data into that application. And now the beauty of this is that those documents are linked together, and if I change data in one document, suppose the sales go from 10 to 70, and you see it changes there, when I save that document, it will tell the other document across the network to update. And this can take a couple seconds, but take a look at the chart on the other side, and you will see it update. There we go.
There it is.